You've spent months building it, pouring everything into it, the vision, the structure, the details, the delivery, every single piece crafted around a mission and genuinely something that you believe in. And then you put it out there to the world. And what happens? Nothing. Not because what you built isn't good, not because the market doesn't need it, because nobody knew that it was actually coming. Nobody was warmed up. Nobody had been invited into the story before you asked them to say yes. So today I want to show you exactly why this happens, why it is one of the most common and most painful mistakes mission-driven founders make, and the specific strategy for building the kind of momentum that makes a launch feel like a celebration instead of a wake-up call that you are dreading. All right, so let's get into it. You're listening to the Secret Marketing Diary of Personal Brands, where being the face of your business gets to be powerful, profitable, and unfiltered. Okay, so I want to talk to a very specific person today. You are a founder, you have a mission, not just a product or a service, a genuine movement that you are trying to create in the world. Maybe it's a new offer you've been developing. Maybe it's a community that you're trying to build around something you deeply believe in. Maybe it's a service. Maybe it's a membership. Maybe it's an event. Maybe it's a program, something that came out of a real experience and real conviction, and you know it's going to change things for people it is built for. And you've been heads down creating it, right? For weeks, for months. I've even seen people like for years getting every single little detail right, building the experience, making sure that when someone says yes, they're going to receive something that actually delivers. And that dedication is everything. That is the mark of someone who takes their work seriously and actually cares about the people that they serve. But here's what nobody told you before building all of that. And this is what genuinely breaks my heart because I see it play out over and over again inside the businesses or really talented, really passionate founders. So by the time you were ready to share it to the world, you have been so quiet about it that when you actually made the offer, nobody had context. Nobody knew the story behind it. Nobody had been watching, getting curious, building anticipation, connecting with you around the problem you are solving. You went from zero to here's what I built, want it, and nothing happens in between. Right. So what happens is that the silence that followed was not the market saying no. It was the market saying, who are you? And why does this matter to me right now? And that is the chicken and the egg problem of launching anything new. And today we're going to fix that. So let me give you an analogy. I think this is going to click immediately. Think about a movie, okay? A big one. I'm just going to throw like Marvel or Disney, right, out there. Anything with real marketing behind it. Do you think that they wait until the movie is in theaters before they start talking about it? Absolutely not. There's trailers that have dropped months before the actual release date, sometimes a year out. You get teasers, you get behind the scenes content, you get interviews, you get countdowns. By the time that movie actually opens, you have been thinking about it for months and you can't wait for it to open, right? Maybe you're like me and I actually put it in my calendar. You have talked about it. You have made plans. You're ready to invest and buy those tickets before the tickets have even gone on sale. And then opening weekend hits and the theater is packed. Now imagine if Marvel finished filming and on a random Monday morning, they posted, hey, the movie is out, go watch it. No trailer, no buildup, no story, just it's ready. Nobody would show up. Not because the movie sucked, not because it's bad, because nobody knew that it was coming and nobody had been given a reason to actually care yet. And that is what most founders are doing. They are skipping the trailer entirely and going straight to opening weekend. And then they're devastated when the theater is empty and they're literally like hyperventilating and, just thinking to themselves, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into? I've spent so much time, money, maybe money if you've invested in having people help you with a build out of something and energy, and then nothing happens. Whatever you are building, an offer, a service, a community, a program, your pre-launch content is the trailer and you cannot skip the trailer. Now, I want to name why this happens because I don't think that founders are doing this out of laziness at all. I mean, most founders, right, entrepreneurs, we are the most motivated people. I think it happens for two very specific and very understandable reasons. The first one is that people are really caught up to keep things private until they're ready. I hear it all the time with clients of ours. They come to us after they've created the problem of launching something and nothing has happened. And then I go back and I look and there's like nothing, right? And they say, well, I didn't have it ready. I didn't have it ready to deliver if somebody said yes. But if you don't talk about it until it's finished and you don't promote it until it's polished, and while that instinct makes sense, right? Because you don't want to overpromise. The problem is that by the time you're done building, you have missed an entire window to create curiosity and momentum, and you really are starting from scratch. The second reason is that founders who are mission driven, they get so deep into the actual creation process that marketing feels like another distraction to them. You are like in that zone, right? You're building something that matters to you. Stopping to talk about it publicly feels like it's breaking that flow. So you keep your head down, you keep building until the day that you like finally come up for air and you realize that nobody's been watching. I The same thing happens when somebody's getting ready to launch a book. So we've worked with clients that have launched books, and when we're going through a marketing strategy and a calendar of how this is going to play out, they're like, "Well, no, I want the book to be finished. I need to get all of the edits done, sent to the publisher." No. So here's the reframe. Talking about what you're building before it is finished, it's not premature. It is strategic. It's how you make sure that when people are ready, it's how you make sure that when you are ready, the people you built it for are already warmed up and they're waiting. Okay, so this is where you want to take your notes out. Okay, so this is what I would call the pre launch momentum system. There's 3 phases to this. And regardless of what you're launching, a new offer, a service package, a community, a membership, anything, this is going to apply to all of it. Of course, there's going to be different nuances for every different business, but you can use this kind of like the framework. So the first phase is planting the seed. And this you want to start 3 to 6 months out. This is where you're talking about the why before you talk about the what. You're not introducing your offer yet. You're not even hinting that something is for sale. You are simply beginning to build the conversation around the problem that you're going to solve. You're going to share the problem. You're going to share who it affects. You're going to share your own story and why this mission matters to you personally. You're going to ask questions of your audience that pull them into the conversation. You create the kind of content that makes your ideal client think, this person understands exactly what I'm dealing with. And I'm going to keep leaning in and listen in more. Now, the tactical moves for this phase, they're going to start with a content series built around the core problem your offer solves. So if you're building something around helping entrepreneurs scale without losing themselves, you're going to start talking about what scaling actually costs people when it's done without intention, right? You're going to share real stories, real observations, real moments from your own experiences, and even your client experiences. You are not pitching. You are building the problem awareness that makes the solution make sense when you eventually reveal it. You're also going to go deeper into one-on-one conversations during this phase. Reach out to people in your world, ask questions, do what I would call real-time market research. Tell your audience openly that you're working on something and you want to make sure it actually serves them. That transparency creates investment before you actually make the offer. Okay, the second phase is you're going to want to build buzz around this, right? And this is going to be about 4 to 8 weeks out. So this is where you start introducing the concept. You begin naming what is coming, you give it an identity, you share the problem that it solves and the person who this is built for more specifically. You're not revealing anything. You're not revealing everything, but you're creating enough clarity that your ideal clients start to think that sounds like it's for me, right? So they start to pay more attention to you. And so tactically, what you want to do is you want to create an interest list. This does not need to be like overcomplicated. This is not a funnel. It can be as simple as a post that says, I'm building something for the person who is dealing with blank. And I want to make sure that the right people hear about it first. DM me or drop the word below, and I'll personally make sure that you are in the loop, right? So that one move, it's going to identify exactly who's paying attention to you. And it gives you a warm list of people that now you can reach out directly to when you are ready. So during this phase, You want your content to actually go deeper on the cost of the problem going unsolved. You're still not talking about the actual offer. You're talking about what happens when this problem stays unaddressed, right? So you're going to give stories, you're going to give real life examples, the moments your ideal client recognizes themselves in it. Give case studies, share stories about your past clients or your current clients. The more that your ideal clients and your audience sees themselves in your content now, the more they're going to feel like what you're about to reveal was built specifically for them. It's not going to be a surprise. And then you can start having more intentional conversations with the people engaging with that content. It's not going to be a pitch. It's going to be a connection conversation. Ask things like, I'm curious, what got you to react to that post? Or what did you find most interesting about my post? Those conversations are going to do two things for you at once. They're going to deepen trust and they're going to sharpen your positioning. And then the third phase is activation. And this is going to happen about 2 to 3 weeks out. This is where you shift from building that awareness to actually building momentum. You're going to show up more consistently now. You're going to, I hope, go live. You're in direct conversations with people. You're making it very clear that something is coming and that there's a real reason to pay attention to it now. So tactically, what you want to do is you want to go live at least once a week, maybe twice a week, maybe 3 times a week for the 2 to 3 weeks leading up to your release or your reveal. Talk about the why behind what you built, share your story connected to this mission. Let people see your face and hear your conviction, because nothing is going to compress that trust timeline faster than showing up on video, especially live video. You're also going to start to bring in some social proof connected to the actual problem that you solve. So I mentioned case studies, but this is really where you are going to double down on any case studies and testimonials. And it's not necessarily from the specific offer, right? Because this offer is a brand new offer, but it's from your body of work in general. Testimonials, client wins, transformation stories, anything that can demonstrate that you are the right person to deliver on this promise. This is your credibility runway. And then you're going to reach out personally to every single warm human being, warm lead who has been engaging with your content during this phase. Every person who commented, every person who reacted, gave a like or a love to your content. Those are people that are showing interest. A personal message sent to them that says something like, hey, I wanted to make sure that you knew about what was coming because I saw that you liked my post in the past about blank, right? So that's not being pushy. That is a leader making sure that the right people don't miss something that was built exactly for them. The goal of this entire phase is supposed to be super simple. Okay. So when you make an offer, the people that are receiving it, they should already feel like you have been in the conversation with them because they have. And that's what turns interest into actual action. So here's the thing that I really want you to hold on to before we close. Pre-launch content is not bragging. It is not over-promising. It is not getting ahead of yourself. It is inviting people into a journey before the destination is ready. And that invitation, that transparency about what you're building and why you're building it is one of the most powerful trust building moves that any founder can make. Because when people watch that you are building something in real time, they feel invested in it. They already start to feel like they're a part of it. They become part of that story. They feel like the insiders. And when you finally make the offer, they don't feel like they're being sold to. They feel like they're getting access to something that you have already been talking about because they've been waiting for it. So I don't care if you're launching a new service, a new offer, a community, a membership, a book, it doesn't matter, anything. The principle is the same. Nobody buys from a stranger on launch day, not even your friends and family, okay? They buy from someone that they have been watching, trusting, and resonating with long before the offer was ever made. You have to stop skipping the trailer, start building the audience for the movie months before it opens. So what I gave you today is the framework and the tactical moves inside of each phase. And yes, there are other nuances, but this is just a very simple overview of what this could look like. What I didn't give you is obviously the specific content strategy, the DM sequences, the conversation cadence built around your specific offer and your specific audience, because honestly, that level of detail has to be built around what you are actually launching, who you're launching it to, where your audience currently is in the relationship with you. If you have something that you're launching and you want to make sure that you're not releasing it into complete silence, DM me the word launch on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, wherever it is that you and I are connected. And I will personally take a look at where you are and what needs to happen before you open that door. The mission matters, the movement matters, and the people you built it for deserve to know it is coming long before you ask for them to say yes. Plant the seed, build the buzz, activate, and then make your offer to a room full of people who have already decided that they want in. Let's make sure that yours lands the way it deserves to. I'll see you on the next one. You're listening to the Secret Marketing Diary of Personal Brands, where being the face of your business gets to be powerful, profitable, and unfiltered.